Hello everybody. In next two videos I will go over the graph of sine and graph of cosine. Alright, so today we're gonna go over graph of y equal to sine of theta. So let's start with the unit circle. So we learned that this x represents cosine and y-axis represents sine. This direction is plus, this is negative from 0, pi half, pi, 3 pi half, and 2 pi. So we're gonna graph sine of theta. Let me make x and y axis here as well. So sine of theta, so the theta will be, for example, at this point theta is 0. If theta getting bigger, like this much of theta or larger, we are interested to know how big is the value of y. So theta gets larger, the value of y will be bigger. Bigger theta, bigger y value in the first quadrant. So for different value of theta, we will have different value for y. For example, when theta equal to 0, we have sine of 0 equal to 0. That means y equal to 0. So when so if I label this theta and this y, point 0, 0 will be on the graph. I labeled, so we're going to graph y equal to sine of theta. Instead of theta, I could say alpha or beta or x. So all of them, the value of the theta here, the angle here, gets larger. When we get to 90 degree, if theta is 90 degree, or the angle is 90 degree, we get y equal to sine of pi half equal to 1. So at pi half, if here is pi half, then the value of y will be 1. So this another point will be on the graph. But what's happening between 0 and 1? So we need to graph all this value of y so definitely from 0 to 1, this value gets larger, larger, larger to 1. So here the graph will be something like this. So if you graph each value for y, you will get a curve like this. For theta larger than pi half, like when you go to quadrant 2, exactly after pi half, the value of y gets less than 1. As you see, it gets less, 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 and end up to 0. So at pi, this graph, if it will hit to 0. When all the value of the y value, the height value, you get to 0. After pi, when theta is in quadrant 3, if theta is here, so we have value of y, this much is value of y, gets bigger, we get bigger y, but we are in negative direction. So it will go to -1 at 3 pi half. And after, in quadrant 4, if theta is in quadrant 4, here for example, this is a value of y. The value of y gets smaller, and head to 0, but again is in negative direction. So it will go to 0 at 2 pi. So we graph the sine of theta from 0 to pi. So this is one revolution. We can continue, but we will get exactly the same type of graph. Also, if we go in negative direction, the graph will be on the other side. So let me pause here. So here we can see that we have a smooth curve. That green curve is the value of sine of theta, or value of y, in 2 revolutions. Let's see it one more time. I can zoom. All right, let's go back. All right, now that you have some idea how sine of theta looks like, let's have a quiz. So so we have a function f of x equal to sine of x. So this is exactly the same as y equal to sine of x. This x in this function represented theta. I could say sine of t, sine of alpha. So don't get confused about this x. This x is value of theta. All right, we have a function. They give us function. The function is sine of x, and we have 4 options to choose from for the graph. A is like this. B, like that. It continues. C is a line, and D is a chair. So which one is the graph of f of x? A, B, C, or D? Very good. The answer is B. So we have an idea that the sine of x is a periodic function, and it looks like this. Definitely is not A. A is quadratic, equation should be in form of x squared. C is like mx plus b, and D might be x cubed. So when you see a curve like this, well, in this example, it's the best fit for sine of x. Let's have another quiz. This is $100,000 question. This is $100,000 question. I give you guys f of x equal to sine of x plus 5. The graph of A, B, C, and D. A is like this, B is like that, C is like this, and D is like that. All right. Now which one is a graph of f of x? For $100,000, I hope you guys picked B. So the first one is ABC, they are graph of sine. They look like sine of x. Plus 5, that means sine of x that you know, graph is like this. Plus 5, same as algebra that we learn all the transformation. So we need to shift this 5 units up. So the best one will be B. We assume that we shifted 5 units up. So B is correct. All right, let's have another quiz. G of x equal to 2 sine of x. A, B, C, D. All right. Now which one is correct? Is that A, B, C, or D? So we are dealing with sine. You have the idea how sine look like. But the problem is all of them are kind of looks like sine graph. But which one is the best fit for this one? I would pick C. So this 2, it will stretch the function by factor of 2. Same as we learned that y equal to like 5x squared. The graph of x squared, if it is like this, 5x squared, it will be tinier. Here same thing, the period is same, the 2 pi is same, but it get tinier. The sine might be like this, amplitude was 1, but right now the amplitude is 2. So to conclude this video, we will have some cheating notes. For any function like y equal to a sine of omega x, so you can see that you see a and omega here. The absolute value of a represent the amplitude. So in this case, amplitude is 2, has to be positive, and period of the graph will be 2 pi over omega or whatever the coefficient of x. All right, so this is enough for sine of x. In next video, I will go over cosine of x.